Right now it's mid-August, so we already had the July report. I noticed the number of sales has been hit the newest low. So a lot of people are thinking like, what happened in the past July?
Well, Jackie, the market has really slowed down, but I think we'll be okay. Homeowners are now holding off. They're taking a wait-and-see approach before getting into the market. They want to gauge the conditions. And if we start to see buyers re-enter the market in the fall, we might start to move back towards a seller's market unless we start to see more new listings as well. That means that the price is going to go back up.
你而家收睇嘅係加拿大財經一號電視台。
嘉國地產發展趨勢，近期樓市最新動態。地產行業權威發布，眾多專家分析點評，盡在置業加國。
Hello everyone, welcome to Real Estate Canada. The Toronto/GTA market really got hit when the sales slowed down in July. And today we have a guest in our studio to review the statistic of July's report with us. Hello, Victor.
Hi, Jackie.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Would you mind to say hello to our audience first?
Hi, my name is Victor. I'm a sales representative with the Trust Realty Group. Thanks for having me here.
No problem. Well, right now it's mid-August, so we already had the July report. I noticed the number of sales has been hit the newest low. So a lot of people are thinking like, what happened in the past July?
Well, Jackie, the market has really slowed down, but I think we'll be okay. The average home price in July was $746,218, down almost 19% from the peak in April, but still up by 5% year over year. Home sales in the GTA for July are down by 40.4% compared to July of last year, and active listings are up 18,750 compared to 11,300 from the same time last year. So compared to last year, what we have is a slower moving market with a lot more supply. Now, the number of new listings is only up by 5%, which marks a big slowdown since that early rush, that initial surge in the spring when homeowners rushed to cash in on their equity. Homeowners are now holding off. They're taking a wait-and-see approach before getting into the market. They want to gauge the conditions. And if we start to see buyers re-enter the market in the fall, we might start to move back towards a seller's market unless we start to see more new listings as well. That means that the price is going to go back up.
According to the data we got, April to July tends to be the worst consecutive month of GTA's housing market. So a lot of us feel that the main reason behind this market dropping is the new policy introduced by the Ontario government. So what do you think about this?
Well, the Toronto Real Estate Board and the Ontario government both recently found that the proportion of foreign buyers to the overall buying activity is actually not that much. They only take up about 5 to 6% in the GTA for the last 2 years. And so I don't think that this drop in sales is due primarily to the new legislation. I think this is a natural reaction to the very hot early spring market. When a market goes up by 30% year over year, naturally you're going to have some buyers start to back off. I think that it coincided with the legislation that produced a psychological effect to cause a lot of buyers to actually pause their search for a new property. I don't think the recent legislation has done anything yet to address the housing supply. And ultimately, whether it's this fall or the spring, you'll see a return to the seller's market.
Well, a lot of people are using Vancouver as an example to predict the housing market of Toronto. About a year ago, Vancouver has introduced the same foreign buyers tax. But suddenly the market has a negative influence, but not for a very long time, the market bouncing back. So we got some like local brokers, they said they are confident the Toronto gonna take even shorter of the time to rebound. So what do you think about this?
Well, I think Vancouver is a good example of how taxation can't be the solution to a housing crisis. The legislation gives people pause, but it doesn't really address the real issue here of housing supply. There's also differences between the Vancouver and Toronto market.
That's right.
Back when the tax was introduced in Vancouver, I believe that was early early August.
Early August.
It was
yeah.
in early August. It was end of summer. Here it was introduced late April, beginning of summer. So right as the tax hit, we're headed into the summer market. Everything's slowing down, and at the same time, you've got this change in mortgage qualifications. You've got this increase in interest rates, and you've got a totally different demographic that you're working with here in Toronto versus Vancouver. And so you can use Vancouver to help predict what's going to happen in Toronto, but we can't follow it exactly.
So
There
what
are
happened at
differences.
Vancouver is not exactly what's going to happen
No.
in Toronto, right?
No.
So do you think Toronto going to take shorter time to the market going to going back?
I think right now in the summer season, it's very hard to say. I think just because all these different factors are coming together, they confound each other. We don't know whether is it due to the summer market? Is it due to the new policy? Is it due to psychology? There are a lot of factors for us to be working with here. And I think come fall, as the market progresses, we'll get a much better idea. Some of these changes take over a couple months, a year, a little bit more than a year to really settle in and for us to see the real effect, the net impact of what it's done.
Well, we had some agents in our studio to talk about that. If the market didn't pick up by the end of this year, it's going to be worse next year. So that caused a lot of paranoid buyers and investors, right? So from your perspective, what's going to happen in the next 6 months?
Well, that's the thing about markets, right, Jackie? We never know.
It's hard. It's hard to predict.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very tough to predict. And I think when you're talking about any kind of investment, you stick to your investment theory fundamentals, and over time, you'll win. I think that being said, it's been a slow summer's market, and we talked about how there are several different factors that have come together to impact this market. I think given a little bit of time, come this fall, come this spring, as activity picks up a little bit more, we'll have a much better idea of the market for the next 2 years.
Thank you so much, Victor, for coming today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we have a really interesting conversations. Thank you.
嘉国地产发展趋势，近期楼市最新动态，地产行业权威发布，众多专家分析点评，尽在置业嘉国。